On behalf of the Josef Herman Foundation, I'd like to give a special thanks to Jessica Learner, her family and friends for their valued contribution to our Holocaust Memorial Day 2021 commemorative event. The family's contribution has been put together in the following short film, which concludes with Muriel Paget's beautiful violin solo, which she especially arranged in memory of Frank Learner.
Thomas yw fy enw i. Dwi wedi cael ei enwi ar ôl fy hen wncl sycha yma, sydd wedi cael ei lladd yn y Holocaust. Byddai I yn darllen darn o geiriau Anne Frank am darn I edrych mas o natur trwy ffenest. A oherwydd nad ydw I wedi gallu rhoi fy nhrwyn allan am gyfnod mor hir, ydw I wedi gwirioni ar natur. Rydw i'n cofio amser pan na fyddai awyr las o didog, trydar adar, golau, leiad a blodau wedi dal fy sylw i'n hir. Mae hynny wedi newid ers pan ddoes I yma. Un noson, yn ystod gwyliau'r silgwyn, enghraifft, pan oedd y tywydd mor bwyff, mi wnes ymdrech I gadw fy llygaid yn agored tan hanner awr wedi 11 mwyn cael golwg iawn ar y lleiad. Ar fy men fy hun bach am unwaith. Gwaith modd, by'r aberth yn ofer gan fod y golau'n rhy lachar I fi allu mentro agor y ffenestr. Dro arall, rai misoedd yn ôl, ro'n I digwydd bod I fyny y grisiau un noson pan oedd y ffenestr ar agor. Wnes I dim gadael nes bod yn rhaid I mi ei chau. Ro'n I dan y gyfarwydd, y hwyr nos di lawog, y gwynt a'r cymylau gwibiog. Dyna tro cyntaf mewn blwyddyn a hanner I mi weld yn os wyneb I wyneb. Wedi hynny roedd heiad am gael ei gweld eto yn gryfach hyd yn oed na'n hofn I o ladron wneud y tywyllwch bedwi o lygod. Mi es I lawr y grisiau ar fy men fy hun ac edrych allan drwy ffenestr gigin ar breifat. Mae llawer o bobl yn gweld harddwch natur, llawer yn cysgu allan o dro I dro o dan yr awyr serenog, a llawer o pobl mewn ysbytau a charchardau yn deheu am y diwrnod pan fyddwn nhw'n rhydd I fwynhau'r hyn sydd gan natur i'w gynnig. Ond ychydig sydd wedi ei hynysu fel ni, wedi ei rwystro rhag mwynhau hyfrydwch natur sydd ar gael i'r cyfoethog a'r tlawd fel ei gilydd. Yn anffodus, ar wahân I rai adegau prin, rydw i'n gorfod edrych ar natur drwy llenni llychryd wedi ei hwylu dros ffenestri bydron ac mae hynny'n amharu ar y mwynhad. Natur ydy'r un peth na a dim gymryd ei le.
Anne Frank, a German Jewish girl, wrote, "Our freedom was severely restricted by a series of anti-Jewish decrees. Jews were required to wear a yellow star. Jews were required to hand in their bicycles. Jews were forbidden to use trams. Jews were forbidden to ride in cars, even their own. Jews were required to do their shopping between 3 and 5 p.m. Jews were required to frequent only Jewish-owned barbershops and hairdressers. Jews were forbidden to be out on the streets between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. Hans Massequet, a German Liberian black man, wrote, "I was 6 years old when I started school in 1932. The teachers who objected to the new regime were quickly replaced by the pro-Nazi teachers. Some of them, including the principal, were plainly hostile to me and did their very best to insult me and to make contemptuous remarks about my race. One time, I must have been about 10, one of the teachers took me aside and said, 'When we settle the score with the Jews, you'll be next.'"
Hi, I'm Jessica Learner. Earlier you heard my son explain in Welsh that he was named after his great uncle Sucha on my father's side, and also my nephew Amir Reed. Sucha was from Cofio'r near Warsaw in Poland. He was my grandmother's brother, and he was taken to the death camps along with his parents and 4 brothers, a girl of 11 and a sister and cousins. His sister survived, who went to Israel after the war, along with his cousins who went to Paris after the war. My grandmother had moved to Britain, like Josef Herman, who also lost his family in Warsaw. Our family on my mother's side were actors in the Yiddish theatre in Lodz, Poland. Around 1920, my great-grandfather Abraham Ariel came to London. His sister Bella Ariel went to Argentina, while others stayed in Poland. The families became separated and contact was lost. After years of research, my cousins Ros and Mark Johnson reconnected the families and met Argentinian cousins in Buenos Aires. One of them, Divina Gloria, granddaughter of Bella Ariel, continues as an actress and singer on the Argentinian stage today. Overjoyed by being reunited with the family in the UK and inspired by Mark's research, Divi has directed a documentary film of the life of the family in Poland, their theatre travels around Europe, and their tragic loss in the Holocaust of World War II. It is called in Spanish Sangre no es agua, blood is thicker than water. The full film with English subtitles is planned to be released soon, but Divi and Mark were eager to share an exclusive work-in-progress preview with us today, with excerpts from the family's Holocaust story. In the film, we meet and hear the story of Harry Ariel, my grandmother's cousin. He was the only one of the family in Poland to survive the Holocaust, of that side of the family, his own close family. And we hear a clip of stirring lament sung by Divi in Yiddish, as we remember the lives of those lost in the Lodz ghetto and the Auschwitz death camp.
Harry Ariel. Harry Ariel was often spoken about in the family with great fondness. He was the cousin of my father-in-law. He was one of the very last Yiddish theatre actors in London. He seemed mysterious to me, and I wanted to know more.
I was born in Lodz, Poland, a child of a theatrical family, and I started acting when I was a child of 7. I had terrible dramatic scenes, and I must have done it very well because I cornered the market for child parts. And then came the big chance. After working a season with then the great comedy star of the Yiddish stage, Benzion Wittler, we became great friends, and he was offered to come for a season to the Grand Palais in London, and he recommended me for the company as a juvenile light comedian.
One distinct point I remember was when I was 14, Harry Ariel came and gave a performance in our local town hall, which I went to with my parents. It was all in Yiddish, and the only real Yiddish I knew were just expressions and things my parents would say to each other, and quite often they were discussing us and something we'd done that was wrong, and you knew by their tone of voice that it was disapproving, but didn't really know much of what they were saying. But lots and lots and lots of expressions in different situations. But I was learning German at school by then and managed to pick up bits and pieces throughout the performance. And then afterwards we went round to the back and we met Harry, and I can remember feeling a little bit overawed as a 14-year-old, but he was a lovely man and very kind, and that sense of connection was very strong.
I was in seventh heaven. I was delighted. I thought this is my career's beginning now. And I was ready. I made myself ready to go and collect my Polish passport and the visa to travel to England. And this was exactly on the 1st of September 1939. And my dream was shattered. This was the outbreak of the war, and I did not go to England.
I wanted to talk a little bit about growing up and being aware of the Holocaust. I don't know when I became aware exactly, but I do have one very specific image in my head. I was about 8 years old, and I found a picture in a book of a cart with lots of bodies all stacked up on it. It was a line drawing, but for me left a very, very strong image which I can see to this day in my mind. I can remember thinking how awful that was, that these were people, real people, and that they'd just been treated like this. So it was an awareness, and my parents talked about their experiences during the Second World War, but other than that, it was fairly remote. I knew that members of our family had died, but didn't really know who they were or have a particular connection with them. But I had an overall feel for the events from the broader community and from things my parents said and things I read.
I found out that my whole family perished in Auschwitz in 1942. And I was left all alone. So nothing else for me to do in Poland anymore, and some other actors in the same situation decided to leave Poland and to seek a new life, a new world.
His entire family had died in the Holocaust. I thought how tragic that was and what a terrible loss, and how sad for Harry to have no family at all.
hab schon nicht kein Kojach, meine durchzugehen Gas. Ungerig und aufgerissen von dem Regennass. Man schreien und mein Läufen, keiner will bei mir nicht kaufen. Heus gehen, will ich musen wie ein Hund.